Good evening. This is All India Radio Kohima. I'm Jonas Yandan with evening news. The headlines. 11th session of the 13th Nagaland Legislative Assembly commences. Governor Professor Jagdish Mukhi says early settlement of the Naga political issue continues to take the center stage in the minds and hearts of the people. First-time legislator T Yangseo Sangtam elected unopposed as the Deputy Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. And Nagaland becomes first in the country to operationalize National e-Vidhan application program. As we start a bulletin, we appeal our listeners to stay safe from COVID-19 by following these 4 simple steps. Get fully vaccinated, wear a face mask, maintain 6 feet for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. The week-long budget session of the 13th Nagaland Legislative Assembly, NLA, commenced today. This will be the last budget session of the 13th Nagaland Assembly as the State Assembly election is due by February-March next year. This session began with Governor Professor Jagdish Mukhi's maiden address to the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, which was followed by obituary reference to the passing away of Dr. Kageto Zimomi, former member of Nagaland Legislative Assembly. A minute's silence was observed by the members of the House in paying homage to the departed leader. NLA Speaker Sharingan Longoma made a statement on the National e-Vidhan application program. Election to the post of Deputy Speaker was also held today. Meanwhile, Advisor Prisons, Printing and Stationery H. Haying proposed the motion of thanks to the Governor's address and was seconded by MLA Kenyezako Nakro. Discussion on the motion of thanks on the Governor's address will be taken up on Monday. The Speaker adjourned the House till Monday. Nagaland Governor Professor Jagdish Mukhi has said that early settlement of the Naga political issue continues to take the center stage in the minds and hearts of the people of the state. He said a coming together of all the members of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly to form an oppositionless government to pursue for an early solution to the Naga political issue represents one of the most beautiful illustrations of everyone putting interest and welfare of the people and the state above anything else. Addressing the first day of the 11th session of the 13th Nagaland Legislative Assembly session today, the Governor in his 45-minute speech said all are aware of the significant positive developments that have taken place in the past few years. He expressed confidence that with the concern being shown by everyone, the long-cherished solution will soon become a reality. Governor Mukhi expressed pain over the unfortunate loss of 14 innocent lives in Mon district due to the firing by security forces, which also seriously injured many others. He said the government took every possible step to lessen the pain of the victims' families, besides providing prompt assistance in the form of monetary compensation and government jobs to the next of kin of all the deceased, and also looked after the entire medical care needs to those injured. Governor Mukhi said his government is also approaching the centre for taking up certain development projects in the affected areas. He also informed that the SIT, formed for investigating the matter, has completed its investigation, while the Army, which constituted a court of inquiry in the matter, is also expected to complete its inquiry soon. First-time legislator T Yangseo Sangtam, who won the 60 Bungro Gifari Assembly constituency, has been elected unopposed as the Deputy Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. Speaker Sharingan Longoma informed the House that T Yangseo Sangtam was the only member who filed a nomination and declared him elected today. His candidature was proposed by Advisor of School Education K.T. Sukalu and seconded by Advisor Prisons, Printing and Stationery H. Haying. The Deputy Speaker post became vacant in February 2020. Chief Minister Nipirio and leader of the NPF Legislature Party, T Yangseo, congratulated the newly elected Deputy Speaker. Rio exuded confidence that under the leadership of Speaker and Deputy Speaker, the House will continue to maintain the good and noble tradition of maintaining proper decorum even in times to come. The new Deputy Speaker expressed confidence that with the full cooperation of the members, he will discharge his duties as expected of him. This news comes to you from All India Radio, Kohima. You can also listen to this news bulletin on News on Air app and YouTube channel AIR News Kohima. Nagaland Legislative Assembly has become the first in the country to have operationalized the National e-Vidhan application NEVA program. This was stated by the Speaker, Sharinkin Longkoma, during the first day of the 13th NLA budget session, which commenced today. Longkoma said e-book installed in the NLA is the medium through which the members will be using the NEVA application in the Assembly in pursuit of to the paperless Assembly. He said the e-book remains inside the Assembly and is not meant to be removed from its placement position. Sharing his delight with members of the House, Longkoma said Nagaland Legislative Assembly is the first in the country to have reached this important milestone of operationalizing the NEVA system. He said a similar system outside the framework of NEVA has been in operation in the state of Himachal Pradesh, and many other state assemblies are moving in this direction. The NLA Speaker said the NEVA system has been a continuous effort initiated during the time of his predecessor, former Speaker Dr. Judicious Sazo, and expressed his happiness to participate and share the pride in the final implementation of the NEVA system. He said in the coming days it will be scaling it up to the full advantage of the e-Vidhan system in the Assembly's functioning, achieving one of its targets of bringing about a paperless Assembly. Longkoma also said once the other assemblies also implemented, all assemblies and the Parliament of India will be networked together effectively. Chief Minister Nipirio has said that BJP's nominee S. Pangnon Konyak, being a woman in the first place, is the right candidate for the state's lone Rajya Sabha seat. Rio said Pangnon was elected from among more than 10 applicants to be a consensus candidate. Addressing media persons on the sideline of the first day of the NLA budget session today, Rio said just the other day an agreement was reached on women's reservation in the urban local bodies, and now a woman is being selected for the Rajya Sabha. This, he said, the people of the state are having a lot of respect and updating themselves. On being asked if any special arrangements were made to nominate a BJP candidate for the seat, Rio remarked that it is a matter of inner politics, and as an alliance, his party has respect for the alliance. S. Pangnon Konyak is the incumbent state BJP's Mahila Morcha president. Meanwhile, Additional Secretary, Nagaland Legislative Assembly and Returning Officer for the biennial election to the Council of States 2022 informed that no nomination has been received so far for the ensuing election to Rajya Sabha seat from Nagaland. Nagaland Food and Civil Supplies Department has achieved 100% online allocation and 100% supply chain management. Addressing the Nagaland Legislative Assembly today, Governor Professor Jagdish Mukhi said Nagaland achieved 10% supply chain management from generation of intent to FCI for lifting of food grains till the distribution of food grains at fair price shops level using e-post devices. Mukhi said the Aadhaar seating status as on 9th February 2022 is 94.74% for the NFSA ration cards. He said the department successfully implemented Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana BMG KAY scheme 1, 2, 3 and 4 to 14.03 lakh beneficiaries in the state. Mukhi said BMG KAY 5 for the period of December 2021 to March 2022 is ongoing. And now to end the news, here are the main points again. 11th session of the 13th Nagaland Legislative Assembly commences. Governor Professor Jagdish Mukhi says early settlement of the Naga Political Issue continues to take the center stage in the minds and hearts of the people. First-time legislator T Yangseo Sangtam elected unopposed as Deputy Speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly, and Nagaland becomes the first in the country to operationalize National e-Vidhan application program. That is all we have in this evening news bulletin. Good night.